Hello! Hello, and welcome back to Meerkat Chris. So today we got the new Tomb Raider trailer. This is a trailer I kind of forgot to expect, I guess you could say. I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of the first trailer. I mean, I'm a huge Tomb Raider fan, which can be very evident if you look around my room. I mean, these quite obviously weren't just propped up for the video, but yeah, Tomb Raider, the 2013 game, but this is the PS4 remaster. This game is the game that the new film, Tomb Raider, starring Alicia Vikander as Lara Croft, is based off, which is one of my favourite games of all time. I'm pretty sure that is a big shock to some of you guys out there. Not really, because I mention it like every other video. Basically, I don't know, I've kind of had a bit of up and down with this film. I remember the poster being revealed, and I was kind of like, alright, okay, I can see where they're going with this. I kind of like it. I was a bit disappointed to see that it is definitely just going for the look of the original game, but it kind of sparked the excitement in me. And then, of course, the trailer dropped not that long after, and I was very like, I can see what they're doing, but at the same time, it didn't really feel like they were doing anything with the brand they had hold of. It just kind of felt like they loosely knew what the game was about and what it looked like and was like, yeah, we'll make that. You know, they got the costume right. That's definitely not a denier, but it just came across as a bit like, oh, okay, they're focusing on action, I see, whereas the game actually focused on survival and the emotional depth of the character Lara Croft. Whereas the first trailer was a bit like, look how cool she is doing all this slow-mo stuff, because yeah, they did feature slow motion, and I'm not really a big fan of slow-mo. It's a bit too 2000s cheesy, and I don't quite know why it's popping back up with the likes of this and Star Wars even. Yeah, I know I haven't talked about that on my channel yet, but ooh, slow-mo and Star Wars, eh? Anyway, going a bit off topic here, but yes, trailer 2 released today, and I was a bit like, oh yeah, I forgot that was coming out. And I was pleasantly surprised. I really enjoyed the trailer, especially from about halfway through when the song kicked in and she was really on the island and doing all the survival stuff. That's where it started to get really exciting for me, and I was like, I'm hooked. It does, of course, start off with a bit of an emotional investment in the character, which is what we want. It brings up the loss of her father and tries to make that a big deal. It kind of ignites her sense of adventure and makes her want to go do all these things and follow in his footsteps, which leads her to this island, which does seem very similar to the island in the game, which I was very surprised at when they had that nice wide angle shot with Lara standing looking out into the ocean. I was like, okay, that does look like the island in the game, so I'll give them that. Another thing they seem to have improved on in terms of adding into the trailer is the acting performance from Alicia Vikander as Lara. In the original trailer, I was a bit like, what? She's Lara. Well, why does she sound so bored? I mean, I like Alicia Vikander. She was brilliant in Ex Machina, and I have high hopes for her doing really well with it. But she just, in that first trailer, especially when that guy goes, oh, what's the point in all this, or something on the boat. I can't remember what he actually says. He says this or something.
That's right in the middle of the Devil's Sea.
That. And then she's like, it'll be an adventure. It'll be an adventure.
It'll be an adventure.
She says it like that, and I'm a bit like, ooh, that's not Lara. Lara's more like, it'll be an adventure. Really eager to get this thing done and really into the sense of doing this and accomplishing something. I didn't quite get that from the first trailer. This one kind of seemed to either have a new take of that same line where she is way more energetic about it and really enthusiastic, or it was just me mishearing.
It'll be an adventure.
She also actually seems rather scared and vulnerable, which is exactly what I wanted from this film. That was the main thing I wanted to do once I heard that they were focusing on the original 2013 game. In the first one, she just seemed to be, like I said, it's all focused on action. She was just like doing everything, no issue, doing the slow-mo. That's what she was doing in the first trailer, and I was just like, okay, well, where's the investment? Where's the emotional investment for me? And this trailer really seems to be building on that with the whole father issue and the acting performance. Like, I mean, just look at this.
Your father, he put me here. Now I see the likeness.
She looks scared. She doesn't know what is going on. She's this normal person, this human being, trapped on this island and being abducted by these men who are dangerous. They've got guns and everything. She looks intimidated, and that's what I'm liking it so far in terms of that. In terms of narrative though, I am a bit worried still. Like with the first trailer, we do get a lot of scenes set in London, which I would imagine, and it's definitely set up this way, they take place during the first act before she sets off on adventure. And I think they're going for the whole character building here, and they're going to set up loads of like plot points, and probably because they're introducing Trinity into the film as well from the Rise of the Tomb Raider game, build up all this backstory through her father and everything, and then in the second act also take her on the boat to go onto the island. And I'm a bit worried about that because the first game just pretty much began on the island and you were there the entire game. And it being a film, meaning that it's relatively a lot shorter, as in like probably 2 hours-ish. If the first act really is just set in London before going to the island, that means there's a good third of the film just taken away through that. And I don't want the island stuff to feel rushed. I really want to get invested in all the like survival aspects for Lara. Like when she crash lands in the game, she's there by herself. She hasn't got any of her friends around. And you have to go... Oh yeah, sorry, I've lost audio on the mic. Okay, we're back. Yeah, basically, I just don't want them to spend too long in London because I want the film to really delve. I really want the film to because I really want the film to dive deep into the whole survival aspect and really help give you the sense that Lara is alone and vulnerable on this island for a very long time. Anyway, them adding Trinity and adding in the whole London aspect is kind of all I get that's new to the story from this. I just feel that this being the Tomb Raider game and that being the Tomb Raider film, I don't feel that that adds enough to warrant a basic remake of the game, which isn't even that old and still holds up incredibly well. And if you want to have the Tomb Raider story, there it is. It's there in the game form, you know what I mean? It's too similar to the game without adding too much new, and it makes it feel kind of pointless. Why do they make movies based on video games if they're not going to do anything different with it and they're just going to like basically remake it? It's just a small gripe with video game movies in general, but why not just allow the video games to exist as they do and then make a movie set in the same universe but tell a different story? Another aspect that I really liked in terms of Alicia Vikander's acting and writing, in terms of character building, was when she jumps and catches onto the plane's wing, and then she's kind of like dangling there, and then she looks down to the ocean, and then it cuts away, and then she kind of goes, "Really?" Or like this. That's probably a better example.
Really?
That is Lara. That's her finding the humour in stupidly dangerous situations. That's Lara Croft that we all know, especially from the older games, but it seems like they're injecting a bit of that humour, and it feels kind of believable, because it kind of feels like we're there with Lara and she's kind of speaking to us being like, oh, seriously, look at how stupid this is, sort of thing, while still taking itself very seriously. I like that sort of thing, but the thing that got me worried was that the trailer had to cut away from a shot of Alicia Vikander dangling like this to a wide shot where you can't even see her face, which is where they add in the "really" line. Trailers tend to have a habit of misleading people, and I get the feeling that that "really" line is taken from a completely different scene, and they just layered it on top of that scene for the trailer. I really hope it isn't, because that was a really good moment. Another slight issue I have with the film is the bad guy, or the villain, or the henchman, or whatever he is, because I don't suspect he's the major bad guy of the narrative. I don't know how closely they are going to stick with the game in terms of narrative towards the end of the game, but it's just a bit too boring. Even just in terms of how he looks, he's just a bit bland as a bad guy, like somebody we're meant to be scared for or fearful of for Lara's life. He just comes across as a bit two-dimensional and generic, you know, like he doesn't really have any motivation or any real reason for being the bad guy and doing and saying the things he does in the trailer. He just kind of says them because he's the bad guy, you know. Whereas Lara seems to be a well-invested character with well-written motivation and such so far, which I'm kind of happy about, because it being a video game movie, you know, we might not actually get that in the finished film, but I mean, technically the film looks good. It's got some good technical aspects, like the cinematography looks good for what it is. The action looks good. The CGI is looking a lot better than it did in the other trailer, as much as I'm not really a fan of using CGI over practical effects for the most part. It looks more like CGI from what I can tell. And the pacing of the edit for this trailer is a lot better than the first one, and it really helps make it feel, you know, like you want it. Like it makes you get you pumped up for Lara Croft Tomb Raider. And I know I'm getting a bit controversial here, but I still don't like how Alicia Vikander looks as Lara, because she doesn't look like Lara Croft to me. I don't know. I don't know if it's her face shape or something. She's a bit too masculine. I don't know if it's just me. Whereas Lara in the games, played by Camilla Luddington, who is my personal favourite Lara Croft, by the way. Just a little bit of Meerkat Chris trivia there for you. That Lara Croft in the game has a much softer, feminine face, you know? And I always see Lara as that Lara. And then we get this one who looks a bit more like a guy, a bit more masculine in the face, which is not a bad thing, but she doesn't look like Lara. I don't know if it's just me. It looks like somebody dressing up really well in Lara Croft cosplay, but yeah, she's definitely good at the acting stuff, but I'm just not getting the Lara out of her in terms of visual stuff. She's starting to sound like Lara, but not look like Lara, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I think I'm going to wrap up the video now because it's getting a bit long. But yeah, basically, I think the second trailer's made me a lot more excited for this. Like I said, I am a bit over the fact that we're just basically repeating what we've seen in the brilliant game. Here's hoping it's a very good film. Well, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you at least kind of enjoyed the video. This might be the very first video you've seen of mine in a very long time, in terms of like, it's been a few months. This is actually like the 4th video I've recorded in the past few days, and I'm still working on the edits of the other ones, so this might come first before those. I don't quite know yet. Yeah, why not leave a like and subscribe, because, you know, it's really appreciated. And yeah, bye.